who is in the category of you just don't know what you're going to get just about every time he drops back.
Well, and that's right, Joe. I think that Jay Cutler's season has been somewhat up and down, a little bit like this football team, but I think Lovie Smith said it very well when we visited with him that, you know, this team really is going to go as far as Jay Cutler allows them to go.
Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall start on the outside. And a handoff is to Forte. And to go back to what you said, as you look at this offense and three different offensive line starters for the Chicago Bears, and when these two teams met in week 2, and that includes the first NFL start for the rookie James Brown, Cutler said, we want to and need to run the ball 40 times in this game, so we will see a lot of Matt Forte and Michael Bush.
I think they want to do that to take obviously some pressure off of Jay Cutler, but also to help this defense out, keep Aaron Rodgers on the sidelines.
Here he is again, and a nice play and a nice gain on second down. Out across the 35 to the 36. Morgan Burnett on the stop, and a 14-yard burst by Matt Forte.
Gabe Karimi here, the right guard. He's one of those offensive linemen that are starting at a different position the last time these two teams met in week 2. He gets a good seal and then follows in behind the fullback Evan Rodriguez, and a heck of a way to start the game here for the Chicago Bears offensively.
7.
3 in a row. Forte left side. Nice gain on first down out to the 40. Got 4. And we'll look at this defense. Tramon Williams made that stop. They play a 3-4. They've added to their depth up front by activating Jordan Miller to help out. They're a bit banged up. At the linebacker level, they're thrilled to get, obviously, Clay Matthews back, who missed 4 games with a bad hamstring.
Well, Clay Matthews, the last time these two teams met, he had 3.5 sacks, and clearly was a disruptive force and has been throughout his career for the Packers. They welcome him back here today.
4 straight runs. Forte tries the right side for the first time and lowers his shoulder as he picks up a first down. Brad Jones on the stop, but he had to suffer a hit from number 22 to bring him down.
Another excellent block by the fullback Evan Rodriguez right there. You see him, he just launches M.D. Jennings. And Matt Forte finishes that run. So Evan Rodriguez out of the 2-back set as he goes to the ground there in the huddle. But starts this series off with 2 very nice blocks. Spring
50.
Matt Forte.
Armando Allen now in a tailback. And he gets it. That's 5 straight runs. And Armando Allen takes it into Green Bay territory. The first-year player out of Notre Dame gains 3.
Well, I think if you look at Green Bay defensively, they struggled early in the year stopping the run. They went through a stretch there, Joe, where they were doing a much better job, and Dom Capers was happy about that. But in recent weeks, they have struggled. Of course, when you give up the kind of yardage they gave up to Adrian Peterson and the Minnesota Vikings, those are going to skew the numbers a little bit. But I think a lot of these defensive coordinators around the league feel that the run game in and of itself won't get them beat, that they just don't want to give up the big plays.
On second down, first throw, and who else? Brandon Marshall to the 40. A 10-yard completion on the first throw of the day from Jay Cutler.
Well, we saw Brandon Marshall's comments coming into this game, and one of the things that he was upset about is that he didn't feel that he got one-on-one coverage in that first matchup against the Packers, and the Packers were gloating a little bit by the fact that they held him to just 2 receptions, one-on-one outside on Tramon Williams, and they get the first completion.
First down at the 40. Here's Forte, a lot of room, and Matt Forte to the 30. A.J. Hawk on the stop, a gain of 9.
Well, M.D. Jennings comes up in the hole, but Matt Forte puts a nice move on him as he comes up to make the play. You're going to see M.D. Jennings here. We saw the block that Evan Rodriguez made on him a few moments ago, but that's just a poor job on M.D. Jennings' part. Of course, Matt Forte, he's excellent in the open field, but M.D. Jennings has missed tackles.
6.
this season on a number of occasions.
Devin Hester at the top of the screen on 2nd and 1. It's Forte, and he is tripped up. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd down. So does that change it for Chicago from a run to a pass as Cutler starts in the shotgun? Pass is broken up. Alshon Jeffrey, the intended receiver, and Shields got in there and knocked it away.
Well, Alshon Jeffrey, he could have worked back to Jay Cutler and helped secure this catch. See how he waits on the ball. And because of that, Sam Shields, as the defensive back, he then drives on it, and he's able to make it incomplete. Now, even if Alshon Jeffrey was able to make that catch, he was short of the 1st down. So either way, they were not going to pick up the 1st.
This probably is in the range for Robbie Gould, one of the best and most accurate kickers in NFL history, as Podlish hits it. A nice job as it's down inside the 5 near the 2. Patrick Manley, the center who started that play, was down there.
You're not giving up much because they can only move it half a yard.
John Kuhn in the backfield. Quick throw, and the pass gives him a little breathing room. James Jones on the right side. Well, you know that Don Barclay is starting at right tackle for the 2nd straight week. He's played a game and a half out there, and they like him enough to move T.J. Lang, who's back off the injured ankle, back to his more comfortable spot at left guard. Remember, Ryan Grant is back in the lineup, and they've got kind of a 3-headed attack at running back for Green Bay, with Green and DeJuan Harris, the other 2. Up back, Kuhn gets it, and a Pro Bowler from a year ago for his work on special teams out to the 10. We highlight 4 guys defensively for the Chicago Bears, and this, as you said, is a defense that is predicated on getting takeaways, something they have not done. With only 7 over their last 5 games, they're 1-4 during those games.
Well, they're without some key guys. Here this afternoon, of course, Urlacher out, but they're also without Geno Hayes and a guy who I especially like, defensive tackle Henry Melton.
Here is Rodgers out to his right. He cuts upfield, has a 1st down, and that's what the Packers were hoping for, as this drive basically started at the 1. He went around Corey Wooten to pick it up as he ran it for 6 yards, and that's the danger when you face Aaron Rodgers.
When you're backed up the way that Green Bay was to start this possession, the first thing on your mind as an offense is just pick up 1 1st down and try to give that punter just a little bit of room to work with. And so for the Packers, even after the 1st penalty, to be able to get the 1st down there was nice.
Hand off to Green. Nice run. Spun off a tackle after hitting Nick Roach first, a gain of 6. 2nd down and 4, and the Packers now, with a little more breathing room, will try and hurry it up.
They go into their hurry up, something that they're clearly very good at, and something that Aaron Rodgers likes to run.
Where do you go? Where do you go?
They fake the handoff. The pass is almost picked off. It was behind Randall Cobb, and that got the fans out of their seats here at Soldier Field, as it almost was intercepted. Roach and Briggs were in there defending. That's Roach, who's now the starting middle linebacker, and there's Briggs, who had a chance at coming away with the pick. Bad throw.
Yeah, Rodgers was just hoping that Randall Cobb would settle down and not try to get up the field. Aaron Rodgers trying to protect him with that throw. And fortunate it was not intercepted.
3rd down and 4. Passes to the sideline, incomplete. Jennings, the intended receiver. It's 4th down. They're acting as if he was trying to call a timeout, didn't get it, as he was watching it with us. Rodgers in trouble. Down he goes in the arms of Corey Wooten. A loss of 4, and for Wooten, that gives him 6.5 sacks.
Well, it's a great job on the outside. They get the pressure on the inside, but look at the defensive ends and how they maintain their position. and keep Aaron Rodgers in the pocket. And that's really the key. You know, in talking with the Bears, they said when Aaron Rodgers has gotten outside the pocket on them, he has created a lot of problems. That time, even with a little room to maneuver, they maintained rush discipline and kept them tight in the pocket.
On 2nd and 14, pass is behind Jermichael Finley. And now 3rd down and long as the Bears try and get another defensive stop.
Well, the Bears came into the game wanting the Packers to run the football. You know, Lovie Smith said, hey, we have to make them run the ball against us. And so the Bears have been playing coverage on virtually every single snap. Packers still trying to run still trying to throw the ball against some of those coverage looks.
3rd down and 14. Rodgers just gets rid of it. Pressured by Lance Briggs.
Lance Briggs, he's able to just shoot the gap. Nobody there. Barclay, he's out trying to take care of Julius Peppers. Not sure if Kuhn maybe should have helped pick that up. Nevertheless, Briggs is free. And a good job there on a 3-and-out after that penalty on the punt.
Just got it away. And this is Hester backing up at the 25. Room to run. Mastay makes the tackle. Is as good as you could hope for. Forte had 6 carries for 37 yards on the opening drive. Now he's got 7 carries on the day for 38 as he gains 1. Eric Walden on the tackle, and Lovie Smith came here, former defensive coordinator for a Super Bowl champion in St. Louis, and you thought defense, defense, defense. That's been great, but look at where the Bears have ranked offensively since he took over in 04.
Well, that's been the problem. I mean, defensively, they've been pretty dominant during his tenure, but it's proven itself out that especially in today's game, you better be better offensively than the Bears have been if you're going to win.
Here's Raji making a play. He got help from Burnett, but B.J. Raji, who impressed you on tape from a week ago in their win over Detroit, just got right through.
Yeah, B.J. Raji last week was outstanding. I thought he had a real impact in that game, and in talking with Mike McCarthy, he felt it was his best game of the season, and he's able to win on that play on 2nd down and come up with a big loss.
Yes.
Now 3rd down and 13. Matt Forte split out wide to the top of the screen. Cutler trying to pick it up with his legs, will not. And it was Brad Jones who got in there to make the stop. And before a punt, we'll go for a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee. About it with the offensive group on the sideline is Aaron Rodgers, who completed his first pass, but missed on his next 4. Hands it off to Green. And Alex Green has been getting better and better, and as he has gotten better, so has the overall run game. Over the last 5 for the Packers, it's become more of a weapon, and they were good against Detroit last week.
Yes, they were, and you're right. Alex Green has, he's learned to be a little bit more patient, as he's gotten more playing time.
Here he is again, and he's got a 1st down. Good hard run by the former standout at Hawaii, who averaged over 8 yards a carry in his senior season.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why patience was a struggle for him, was because he was such a big play running back, there at the University of Hawaii, that then you get to the NFL and you think you're going to still have those big runs. But once he learned that not every play is going to go for 10 yards, he's become a much better runner.
5-3 to Mike. Run. 5-3 to Mike. Run. Correct it. Ready to go.
Delayed handoff 3 in a row. Green, who really is lowering his shoulder. He bangs into the body of Nick Roach. Adonijay there as well, a gain of 3, and there's a lot on Nick Roach. Obviously no Brian Urlacher, and as Aaron Rodgers told us, Brian knows a lot of our calls, so there's a lot of cat and mouse when Rodgers is facing off with Urlacher, but the pressures now is on 53. 2nd and 7. Rodgers out to his right for Green. Nice play out there on the edge. And it was Moore who made it, a loss of 1.
I talked about Lovie Smith really wanting the Green Bay Packers to run the football, and because of that they're playing a lot of coverage, and the Packers come out and they do run the ball, but ultimately it comes down to what happens on third down. And Lovie Smith feels that even if the Packers have success today running the football, that in and of itself is not going to be good enough for them to win the game.
On third down, Rodgers steps up and gets sacked for the second time. The defensive ends, Wooten and Peppers, were in there, and with Urlacher cheering from the sideline, their second sack.
Well, Julius Peppers, you're going to see against Marshall Newhouse, he drives him back, and then as Aaron Rodgers starts to step up in the pocket, he comes off the block and he's there to help make a play.
They've been able to set the tempo of this game. They had a 5-minute drive to start their day, and looks like they're going to hold Green Bay scoreless in the opening quarter. As Cutler goes big for Forte, and off his right hand, incomplete. Good coverage downfield by Brad Jones, who was there step for step.
Yeah, the Bears got the matchup they like. You know, they split out Matt Forte as a wide receiver, and that forces in Brad Jones, the linebacker, to come out in coverage with no help. And Matt Forte last year, he was their leading receiver, and so he's very good at a lot of things. Certainly a good runner, but he's a good route runner also, and he catches the ball very, very well. Last year he was about all they had. At least they brought in Brandon Marshall, and now he's getting most of the work himself.
Here's Forte. Penalty flag flies. Looks like a hold as Forte over the left side gets 7.
Holding number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
It's Gabe Karimi, who was drafted as a left tackle. Now he's given it a go at right guard.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for him. He's right here at right guard, and you know, you said it. He was a left tackle in college at Wisconsin. He played with offensive coordinator Mike Tice's son, who was a quarterback there at Wisconsin, and so they were very familiar with him. Mike Tice said we knew he was going to play right tackle when we drafted him. He played last year and then had a knee injury and missed the rest of the season. Struggled this year, lost his job, and then they moved him to right guard when Lance Lewis went down. But it has been a tough year for number 72.
Now second down at 20. They set up a screen for Allen. Armando Allen lowers his shoulder, and a nice pickup on 2nd and 20 of 16 yards as Casey Hayward makes the stop. And that's going to take us to the end of the first quarter.
Well, Brandon Marshall, he's going to get a lot of balls thrown to him, and the Packers know it, so he's going to attract a lot of attention. With him on the opposite side of the field, they come back the other way with a screen to Allen. That's a nice pickup to make this a manageable third down.
And on third down and 4, a sack for the Green Bay defense. The first guy there was Mike Neal, but he had help, a loss of 8, and it's 4th down.
319! 319!
Third possession, and it's play action. Rodgers over the middle. What a good throw. And he hits the guy who's become his favorite target, Randall Cobb. Good for 30 yards.
DJ Moore, it looked like he was the one in coverage. He peeked to the inside just enough. Sure enough, when he looks inside, he loses him. He loses Randall Cobb, but he looked into the backfield. That's that 2-deep look by the safeties. That's the area of the field that you have to exploit. The Packers have had a hard time doing that in recent weeks.
Here's Alex Green, tried the right side, now ends up over the middle. Gets hit by Briggs. Peppers was in on it, and it was Wooten who forced him back toward the middle of the field, a gain of 2. What did Lovie Smith tell us? He said Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback when he's in the pocket. He's an MVP when he's outside of it. As he completes to Finley, and Finley has marked down a yard shot in the first down.
Well, we saw Randall Cobb get to the middle of the field, and if you're a Packers fan, you're probably tired of watching, hearing, and reading about all the 2-deep looks that the Packers have been getting.
Here's a ball that's batted back into the arms of Rodgers. There's a flag down, and that's because the Packers had too many on the field. Rodgers tried to hurry it up, and he messed up his own sideline. So here we go, 4th and 2. Packers 2 for 7 on 4th down this year. Rodgers finds Finley, who's got a first down. Jermichael Finley, who had some words during the week about the Bears defense, and Urlacher is good for a 4th down catch.
Well, you see the route there by Jermichael Finley, but Aaron Rodgers was actually working to his left, and normally, you know, with a drop that shallow, if you get any kind of pressure inside, you're not able to get to your 2nd or 3rd receiver, but yet the offensive line does a good job up front. Rodgers is patient, and they pick up the first down to Finley.
On first down, ground game, it's Green. And you got to like the way he's come out running today as he spins his way to the 25. And just to finish, Jermichael Finley said during the week, Urlacher, who's out with a bad hamstring, is at the end of his career right now. He's playing a little slow out there. Putting another guy in might help them a little. Briggs then countered with, Finley's an idiot. Urlacher then said, wasn't it you who hurt your knee back in 2010 and the Green Bay Packers went on to win the Super Bowl? So there's been a lot of back and forth leading into what has so far been a defensive struggle between these two. 2nd down and 6, and that's batted away. Incomplete pass, 3rd and 6, trying to get it to Green.
I just wonder how Lance Briggs really felt about it.
Huh? Idiot pretty much says it all. I mean, once that comes out, there's no ambiguity, as DJ Moore got up and knocked it away.
Another big 3rd down here for the Chicago Bears defensively. If they're able to make a stop, they force Mason Crosby to come out and try a field goal attempt, and he's improved. He's gotten a little bit better from the midseason slump he was in earlier.
On 3rd down and 6. Pass is off the hands of Randall Cobb. Rodgers had him wide open, and he looks back at that area. We were there in the game in Detroit a month ago, and you thought, well, there's no way he survives this week. That was the game when Greg Jennings was trying to cheer him up on the sideline. He's missed a field goal now in 8 straight when he's attempted a field goal, and it's just to the point where in tight games that the Packers are playing, with the weather being as bad as you would expect, Green Bay shooting for a number 2 seed potentially, they're going to have to bring in guys to at least look at. Aren't you shocked he's still getting the call? It's 2nd and 10 now for Cutler, who gets hit, finds Marshall, and Marshall takes A.J. Hawk on a ride toward the first down marker.
It is hard. Now, as they move through this month, Joe, if it does not get better, I can't imagine going into the playoffs with the uncertainty that Mason Crosby has shown throughout this year.
Here's Forte. A.J. Hawk on his back, a gain of 3. Let's go to Kurt for a game break.
All right, the Redskins, one of those teams trying to keep pressure on the Bears for a playoff spot. Kirk Cousins, again, starting for the injured RG3. Throws the touchdown pass with a little help from Leonard Hankerson. 54 yards on the score. It's all even at 7 as they get ready to start the 2nd quarter. Joe, Troy, and Pan.
Yeah, Kurt, and not just trying to keep pressure in that wild card chase, but in the NFC East, the Giants are losing 14-0 in Atlanta, so that division is anything but wrapped up. It comes down to the divisional record beyond head-to-head. The Giants are on the short end of that one. Here's Forte. Nice run. Gets to the edge and lowers his shoulder into Jennings. A big run by number 22 of 22 yards.
Well, Sam Shields is in a position. You're going to see him bounce it all the way to the outside. Sam Shields is the corner. He comes up. He misplays it. And he's unable to make a play. And because of that, you get a lot of extra yardage. And then a face mask at the end of this play is going to tack on additional yardage.
It happened away from the tackle. They said 93, I believe, which is Walden. And so Walden, somewhere away from that tackle, got the face mask of a Chicago Bear, and that's going to move the ball to around the 17-yard line.
There's Walden. I still don't. Well, there at the very end, maybe there was something. There must have been. It certainly was not on the tackle, you know, for the Packers against Matt Forte, but really a nice run by Forte. And as I said, last year he was about all that they had, and I still think he's one of the real dynamic players in this league.
Allen in the backfield, delayed handoff to him. And Armando Allen takes it to the 15, gets 2. That was a 22-yard run plus a 15-yard penalty. And this is the first time either team's been inside the red zone. The Bears are the number 17 red zone team in the NFL. 53% of the time they get it into the end zone when they're inside the 20.
And the Packers defensively have not been good this year in the red zone, and these are what these games come down to. You know, the Bears have had pretty good field position here in this first half, have not come away with anything. The Packers have done a nice job, but now on this drive, it's important for the Bears that they come away with more than a field goal.
Cutler over the middle, hits Marshall. And Marshall stays on his feet for the touchdown.
Well, Brandon Marshall, he's going to work to the middle of the field. And then it's just poor tackling after the catch. Brad Jones misplays it. Casey Hayward gets stiff-armed. He can't make a play.
Over 100 catches on the season, now has 10 touchdown receptions. Here's Cobb. What a play. Joe Anderson. That was one-on-one. And Joe Anderson. Fourth Packer possession. 3 of them have started inside their own 15. Pass is caught by Jennings. Got around the initial tackle by Kelvin Hayden, and Jennings is out of bounds up near the 30. Nick Roach forced him out, but an 18-yard completion to start the drive.
Joe, you mentioned Urlacher not being in the game in the cat and mouse game between he and Aaron Rodgers. You're going to see Nick Roach. He's the one who's orchestrating it this time for the defense. And when Aaron Rodgers saw the defense started to check the play offensively, then the Bears countered that, but advantage went to the Packers on that play.
Handoff is to Ryan Grant. Grant welcomed back with open arms prior to last week. Got a big ovation when he checked into the game against Detroit. And a guy who had a couple of 1,200-yard rushing seasons back in 08 and 09. And Aaron Rodgers said, look, I trust him. I trust him in December games, and I would trust him in the playoffs to protect the ball and get big yards.
Well, that was just his 3rd carry of this season. 2 with the Packers, had 1 earlier for the Redskins.
They give it to him here on 2nd and 9, and Grant up to the 34 gets 3, so 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, hard to believe that Ryan Grant was the team's last 1,000-yard rusher back in 2009. Had the injury back in 2010 that cost him the season, and when the team went on and made it to the Super Bowl, played last year, got over 500 yards rushing, but they failed to re-sign him. But they're sure glad to have him back now with all the injuries they've had themselves.
3rd down and 6, a blitz. Rodgers gets to the outside, throws for Cobb. What a catch! Randall Cobb with a great adjustment and a beautiful catch by number 18 along the sideline.
Well, it was a great catch, but it was also a great throw, Joe. And you're going to see he gets both feet in bounds. As best I could tell when it happened in real time, sure does. But as Aaron Rodgers gets outside the pocket, he has to throw this ball on the outside because of the safety coming over the top, Major Wright. If he had led him to make it an easier catch, Major Wright probably then makes a play on the ball. He has to lead him to the sideline and hope that Cobb can readjust. He does and makes a spectacular catch.
31 yards on 3rd and 6. Handoff is to Grant, nowhere to go. Back to the line of scrimmage. Can we go back to that route by Randall Cobb?
Well, you're going to see the pressure that Aaron Rodgers puts on a defense because he gets outside the pocket. I mean, there was an out and up route, and then he gives him the hand. But it was pretty good coverage. DJ Moore is in a good position. Major Wright coming over the top. And there really wasn't anything the Bears should have done differently. You see Rod Marinelli highly upset. That was just two players making a great play, a great throw, and then an outstanding catch by Randall Cobb.
319.
2nd down and 10. They fake it to Grant. Finley gets a big hit. Got popped by Lance Briggs. A gain of 6. Tillman was out there with Briggs, and so now more manageable 3rd down, but you're back in that area now where you have to consider it a test for Mason Crosby if the Green Bay Packers don't pick it up. Right now you're looking at roughly a 48-yard try.
Yeah, you know, Mike McCarthy says he makes these determinations, you know, before the game or before the plays come about. So I'm sure in his mind he already knows whether they're going to go for it on 4th down or whether they would settle for an attempt.
3rd down and 4. This is Jones. Hit in stride for the touchdown. That is the 10th touchdown reception of the year for James Jones.
And not as many here recently, but the Bears go down, get the touchdown to Brandon Marshall, and the defense does not make a stop. And I think that's the thing that really good defenses are able to do.
Matthews got in there in a flash, did not make the tackle, but basically stopped the play as Matt Forte gets no gain. And Clay Matthews and the way he can disrupt an offense and timing, there's nobody like him.
Well, I think that a lot is made about what they miss from him as a pass rusher and how their sack totals go down. But you know what? The rushing yardage against them went up when he was not on the field as well. And so he's an impactful player, both rushing the passer and playing the run. A lot of pass rushers, a lot of the great pass rushers are not as good against the run as Clay Matthews is.
Defense getting a good jump off the snap. And Forte gets hit in the backfield, lost 2. Clay Matthews, Troy, is in there again to make that play. And you bring up a good point. He's a great pass rusher, but does not forget to play the run. It's 3rd and 12.
No, and he kind of shows his strength. You're going to see him here. He's working against the tight end, Spaeth, and you see how he plays him, locks him out, and then is still able to get off of that block and make a play. I mean, that's a heck of a play there. It's one thing when you're making plays and you're not really being blocked, but when you're able to hold off a tight end, Matt Spaeth, the way that he was able to, and then make a play on the ball carrier, it's good work.
Wide receiver screen, and that ball comes out. It's recovered by Chicago as Brandon Marshall had it knocked out by Burnley
when they beat Alabama, but I think it was well deserved. There were other guys that were deserving, but congratulations again to him.
They fake the handoff and now throw it to Alex Green, and he got walloped along the sideline by Briggs.
Boy, Lance Briggs, what a year he has had. You know, he's like a lot of these guys who you keep waiting for them to slow down, and yet he's timeless. I mean, here he is coming across the field and putting a big hit on Alex Green.
2 minutes. 2 minutes left in the half in Chicago, tied at 7. 2nd down and 3. 2 minutes left. Each side with all 3 timeouts. Rodgers specializes in this 2-minute offense. Throws it out of bounds. 3rd down coming up.
Well, we've watched the Bears defensively, as we've talked about, that they really have wanted the Packers to run the football, and they've given them a lot of coverage to try to persuade them to do that. But in typical Mike McCarthy fashion, they've continued to do the things that they feel that they're best doing, and that's throwing the ball. And the one time they kind of catch the Bears one-on-one outside, they get the touchdown to James Jones. Of course, here with under 2 minutes to play, you know, the Packers are going to throw the football.
Rodgers is sacked. Julius Peppers got him.
Jimmy didn't have his feet up on the desk, and he put those nachos under the table again, though.
1st down for Chicago. Good field position to start. Cutler sits in the pocket and throws a pick right to Casey Hayward. Hayward has got room to run. And that could not have been more in the direction of the rookie who now has 6 picks. I mean, Cutler put it right in his chest.
By the Bears.
Cobb starts this play in the backfield. And he gets it coming out of the backfield. Minimal gain. So for Cutler now 14 interceptions, and as we came in talking about the Bears defense, they lead the NFL in takeaways. They lead the NFL in interceptions. It's the Green Bay defense that comes away with the first takeaway of the game. And it's 6 interceptions for a rookie who has really blossomed since the Packers lost Woodson to the broken collarbone.
Not playing as much on the outside. He kind of gave up that job to Devon House a few weeks ago, but he is still the inside guy, and he's had an excellent season as a rookie. Played a lot more than they anticipated when this season began.
2nd and 7. Pass is out of the reach of Green. So now 3rd and 7. The last time we were talking about 4th down, and they're well within field goal range. Aaron Rodgers probably said 4th down, forget it. He got a 3rd down touchdown completion to James Jones. Now he's faced with a 3rd and 7 from the 23. Just 4 men on the rush. Pass caught. 1st down at the 10. Randall Cobb for 13 yards, and Cobb continues to pile up the yards.
That's horrible defense by DJ Moore because they're playing outside help with the safeties. The middle of the field is where you're vulnerable, and you cannot allow a receiver inside. You have to play inside technique. DJ Moore just gives Cobb the inside release, and that's about as easy a 3rd down conversion as you're going to get in that situation.
13 yards on 3rd and 7. Here's Green. 2 timeouts remaining for Chicago. 3 timeouts remaining for Green Bay, and they'll use 1 here. 2nd and goal. Rodgers for Jones for the touchdown. His 2nd of the day.
Right tackle Jonathan Scott, I just saw him going early into the locker room. He has a hamstring injury and he's questionable. Back to you.
So now, as they have Scott, who was making his 4th start at right tackle, out with a hamstring injury, now Karimi shifts back out to right tackle. And Chris Spencer, who had missed 2 games with a knee injury, is in at right guard. So more trouble up front protecting Cutler, who finds Forte out to the 29-yard line, but the clock will continue to wind, and looks like we're headed for a 7-point game at the half, and that won't sit well with the fans here in Chicago. DeJuan Harris gets the ball for the first time today, and DeJuan Harris spins his way out across the 40. He's 5'7", 5'8". A free agent pickup, was with Jacksonville last year, and he had a rushing touchdown last week against the Lions.
Yeah, he was on the practice squad just 2 weeks ago, and he got his opportunity, as you said, against the Lions. He made the most of it. He makes the most of the run here. He's a little guy. He's very powerful, and they've got some specific things for him that they like, one of which is when he hits it right in the middle of that offensive line. Because of his size, he's very hard to locate for this defensive front.
They stick with him right side. Got around 1 tackle as he went by Briggs. A loss of 1. Here's more on DeJuan Harris, who is put together at 203 pounds despite his height. Cut by the Jaguars and the Steelers. Wasn't with the Pittsburgh organization very long at all. Was a car salesman in Jacksonville, Florida. He signed week 13, and now he's got a chance to be a contributor to a playoff team.
Well, just another great acquisition by general manager Ted Thompson. He continues to find those guys that have helped him.
Here's Jennings. Jennings on that slant with the catch, good for 8. Kelvin Hayden on the stop. to bring up 3rd and short.
I mean, coming into the year, they were sure high the Packers were on Cedric Benson. In fact, earlier in the year, even when Cedric Benson was out because of the injury, Mike McCarthy said that Cedric Benson, in his opinion, would have the biggest impact on this Packers offense. Of course, he's done for the season. And then James Starks, he gets injured. You think about the number of guys that they've had to use at that position, and yet they've gotten enough out of their running game, especially here in recent weeks, to at least make teams think about how they're going to play them.
3rd down and 3, and that's Finley. A catch in traffic for a 1st down on 3rd and 3. Conte on the stop and a gain of 10, and Aaron Rodgers just fit it right in.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that Aaron Rodgers talked about doing in this game with Jermichael Finley. Split him out wide, let him get a matchup. This time they're able to get him on the safety, Chris Conte, and Jermichael Finley comes up with a nice reception.
So a 1st down for Mike McCarthy's team at the 41. DeJuan Harris back in the backfield. He gets it again. Right into the middle of the defense. He gets 2. I think you have to look at Mike McCarthy, Troy, and appreciate his leadership, the great adaptability with the IR list being added to seemingly every week. They've got 10 guys on there. They're really running a different type offense. And you go back to the game at Seattle that they lost on that heartbreaking play at the end of the game. He just plows ahead, and they step in line right behind him.
Well, you saw Aaron Rodgers there and talking to DeJuan Harris. This is kind of new for him in the no huddle.
Rodgers looked that way, but then completes it to Jennings, who's got enough for a 1st down at the Chicago 30.
And Aaron Rodgers talked about it. You mentioned it a little bit earlier in the game that, you know, he was a little nervous last week with DeJuan Harris because he is young, and was he going to protect the football? And McCarthy wanted to work him in some of this no huddle stuff.
Quick snap count. Harris left side. Whoa. And DeJuan takes it inside the 30, good for 4.
In fact, Aaron Rodgers last week against the Lions, because he was concerned about DeJuan Harris potentially putting the ball on the ground, he was not carrying out his fakes, and he was following in behind Harris in case the ball came out, and the coaches graded him down. You know, when they go in on Monday and grade the players, Aaron Rodgers got marked down on a number of plays for not carrying out his fakes, and he just said, hey, so be it. You know, I'm going to be in a position in case something bad happens.
55, 53, 53. Ready, go.
On 2nd down, Rodgers throws for Jones, who's already got 2 touchdowns in this game, and a little bit too high through his hands. 3rd down coming up.
And Aaron Rodgers is frustrated with himself for not completing this one, and it's been fun for me to watch Aaron Rodgers over the years, especially this year, because he's at that point in his career where he really is seeing the field very well, and he's so precise that he feels he should complete every pass.
Handoff is to Kuhn. An interesting call on 3rd down and 6, and John Kuhn gets 1. That's it. It's 4th down, and now the decision for Mike McCarthy.
Well, it was made.
It was made that they're going to go for it.
Yeah, it was made there on the 3rd down, and that's why they ran John Kuhn. Yeah, if they were going to settle for the field goal, that would have been a very strange call. They try to sneak one in with him, knowing that if they don't pick it up, they're going to go for it.
So they have no confidence in Crosby, nor should they. They pass on a 44-yard try. Rodgers completes it. A 1st down to Randall Cobb. And if you're Mike McCarthy right now, do you want the right foot of Mason Crosby or the right arm of Aaron Rodgers? And he picks Rodgers, and it works on 4th down.
Well, he had either guy. I mean, he had James Jones or he had Randall Cobb, which is where he went. I mean, the Bears did not challenge that at all. Conte was in coverage. That's a mismatch of its own, but he doesn't come up and try to get any kind of hands on Randall Cobb, and that was too easy. The Packers are having their way on 3rd down.
And fourth down.
And fourth down.
Here's Green. Left side, Moore made the play. DJ Moore, who has struggled in coverage, comes up to make a play in run support, a loss of 2.
Well, this is a good drive by the Packers. I mean, the way that the first half ended could not have been worse for the Bears with the interception and then the Packers coming away off of that with a touchdown to take a 7-point lead. Now to get the ball to start this second possession and to move the ball right down the field, even if they ultimately just have to settle for a field goal. It's a big drive for Green Bay to start this second half.
Heavy right 30. Heavy right
30. Second down and 12. Quick throw, Jones, and it goes right through his hands. He had a block out on the edge from Jennings, but Jones didn't secure the catch, and now it's 3rd and 12. Faced with 3rd and 12. Blitz. Packers pick it up, end zone, and incomplete for Finley. But a flag comes in. A late flag, and it will be a pass interference against the Bears. Play number 13 of the drive from the 6 on first down. Here's one. Caught for the touchdown, number 3. James Jones, what a day he's having. 12 on the year. And that's almost impossible to defend.
Well, there's no way. I mean, this ball is put in such a great location. I mean, it's right on the back hip. That's good coverage.
Taking over at the 20, the Chicago offense, and they run it with Matt Forte, who, wow, pushes that pile for 4.5 yards. Let's look at the wild card. And it's really important now for the Chicago Bears. Seattle's rolling, and they beat Chicago here in an overtime game a couple of weeks ago. So you've got Chicago, but Washington is going in trailing right now at Cleveland, but knocking on the door. Dallas plays later at home against Pittsburgh. Minnesota's winning big. A loss might all but eliminate the Rams as they are getting pounded by the Vikings. Here's Cutler with a completion on a nice catch by Forte. Pass a bit behind him, Hawk defending, and that catch gives Chicago a first down, a 15-yard completion.
Well, Jay's going to try to fit it into some pretty tight spaces, and he's able to get this one into Matt Forte. But even that throw there was there's an element of risk with every throw that you make, but some a little more so than others. And there were some bodies there in the middle, but yet they make the nice completion to Forte for the first down.
Out to the 40-yard line. Hand off to Forte. Pickett got in there to stop the play. And a loss of a yard. Let's go to Patrick O'Neill with a game break.
All right, Joe, thanks very much. Well, Atlanta trying to close in on home field advantage, and Matt Ryan, seemingly knowing that the Giants have won in Atlanta 7 straight times, hits Julio Jones 40 yards and a touchdown. Julio going over 1,000 yards receiving for the first time in his career. Atlanta up 24-0 on the Giants. Joe, Troy, and Payne.
So they're on their way to a 12-2 record in that #1 seed. Giants beat Atlanta 24-2 in the wild card round last year, but Atlanta having their way at home. Second down and 11 after that 1-yard loss by Forte. Cutler is not on the same page with Jeffrey, and we've seen a lot of that. And what you said earlier, Troy, is, I think, so dead on. The reason Cutler goes to Marshall so much is because he doesn't know where these other guys are going to be.
Yeah, and you just go off of reactions from up here, and Alshon Jeffries, obviously a rookie. He came on early in the season, was doing some nice things. He had a broken hand, missed time, came back, knee surgery, came back last week, and it's hard enough for a young receiver, especially tough when you're missing the amount of time that he has. He's going to be a good player in this league, but they need some of these complementary players opposite of Brandon Marshall to step it up.
Cutler in trouble on third down, and he is taken to the ground. It's Mike Neal. Chris Spencer has been in at right guard. Gabe Karimi is out, and after that one first down, Mike Neal, who did not play last week in the Packer win over Detroit, got the sack. his third of the year on that last series, and now Alex Green over the right side is swallowed up by Adonijay. No gain. And after that sack, Cutler came off the field, and while we talk about Troy, the guys on the outside and him not knowing where they're going to be for sure, the guys up front have not been able to protect him, and that's been the story for Cutler really since he's come to Chicago.
It's been a story for anyone playing quarterback for a while here in Chicago, and we showed how inept they've been for the most part under Lovie Smith on the offensive side of the ball, and a lot of that has had to do with the fact they've not been real solid up front.
On second down, pass is incomplete. Off the hands of Jennings, and Tillman was there, but could not get the deflection. Boy, Chicago needed that.
Well, they've had a couple of opportunities today on some deflections to try to make a play, and they just haven't been able to do it. Now, as we know coming in, you know, when the Bears have had less than 2 takeaways in a game, they haven't won. And they really need to get them in bunches in order to help out this team, and so far they haven't had one yet in this ball game.
3rd down and 10. Rodgers made the most of it and gets a first down to Cobb. And Cobb is out across the 45. And that's just Aaron Rodgers extending a play and making it happen. Harris goes to the left side and gets 1. Randall Cobb with a career-high 115 yards receiving today. So he just continues in his second year to become more and more the focal point offensively, obviously other than Aaron Rodgers, for Green Bay.
And you think about the guys who they have not had. You know, I mean, Greg Jennings, who missed most of the season, and today Jordy Nelson is not playing, and Randall Cobb, for a young player, I mean, he has stepped in and filled both roles when he's had to really, really well.
That's a young player, Boykin, in motion as Grant carries it for a first down and more, but lost it. It's recovered by Chicago. Nick Roach with a fumble recovery. Major right.
Gain for Ryan Grant, but the Bears defense needed to make a play and not give up any more points, and Charles Tillman shows up for him.
Good to see Cutler able to continue as he goes deep. He's got Jeffrey. Penalty flag on the coverage.
That's going to be interesting to see who that's called against. The Packers sidelines where it happened.
40 to the 42. Play action from Cutler. Good protection this time. Going for the home run. Jeffrey. Penalty flag for pass interference on Burnett. And that'll set up Chicago inside the 5. There's Marshall. He's already got one today. Here's Forte. Down to the 2. Under 2.5 to go, 3rd quarter, as Ryan Pickett makes that stop. Second and goal. We welcome in a new audience. 2nd down and goal for Chicago in a game they need. Down by 14 points. Forte does not get in. If you're just joining us, the Bears jumped on top 7-0 on a 15-yard touchdown to Brandon Marshall. 21 unanswered points put up by Green Bay, but after a turnover, the Bears are set up, and you wanted to see Matt Forte take it outside.
Yeah, it sure looked like he had an opportunity. Had he have tried to bounce that to the outside, he would have been one-on-one, and with his speed and the angle that he had, I think he scores. Instead, he tries to hit it north and south. Just doesn't get it enough. I got to believe this is 2-down territory for the Bears.
Forte again. Nowhere to go. Back to the line of scrimmage. It's 4th down. Down by 14 points. final minute, third quarter.
Yeah, I said 2 down. I meant 4 down, and it is for Mike Tice. And you know, they come down here. They're on the 5-yard line. They run it. They get it to the 2-yard line, and they run it 2 more times. They can't get it in. Now 4th and goal. Do you go to the well 1 more time on the ground, or do you run play action? And I think with the changes and the problems they've had up front, of course, now there's no one in the backfield. They're going to throw it, or it's going to be a quarterback draw by Cutler.
It's 4th and goal. Forte at the bottom of the screen. Quick throw. Pass is caught for the touchdown. But a flag, and Alshon Jeffrey may have pushed off. And he has.
Well, Sam Shields went flying. You're going to see at the top. There was definitely
Pass
a grab.
interference, number 17, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 4th down.
That left hand into the chest of Shields for the offensive pass interference.
Yeah, now there's no decision to be made. I mean, with a 10-yard penalty, you can't. The likelihood of converting this are next to none. And so you've got to be able to then come away with at least 3 points
to get to 8-6 as they host the Steelers later today. Then you get to head-to-head. Those teams have all split. Then you get to divisional record, and that's where it works against the Giants. Here's Green. Got half a yard. They ran a play for really no gain. It's 2nd down and long as we start the 4th quarter. Packers up by 11. Rodgers cannot get out of trouble. Almost broke into open ground, but was tripped up. 3rd and long coming up.
And a lot of those rushing yards that we've seen, you know, as an improved rushing attack in recent weeks, some of that's been due to the fact that Aaron Rodgers has been able to create a lot of things, you know, with his legs. He was close on that play, but last week I think he showed what we already knew, Joe, and the run that he had against the Lions. I mean, he's a much better athlete and much faster than I think people realize.
3rd down and 8. Bears defense needs a stop. Rodgers has all day, and he finds Jones. Jones on 3rd down and 8 with a catch of 10 yards. And when you give Aaron Rodgers that kind of time, he will find the open man.
You're going to see the protection that he has in the middle, and he's just moving around, and guys keep it alive. You know, I mean, a lot of times I watch these offenses, and when a quarterback is looking to go somewhere with the ball, nobody gets any separation. You see James Jones, he realizes his quarterback's in trouble. Where's the open space within the defense? He found it, and Aaron Rodgers found him.
319!
Handoff is to Green. Nice hole opens up in front of him. Major right on the tackle, a gain of 3.
The 3rd down, Joe, has been a down defensively that the Bears have been good. And I think if you're going to, you know, whether it's on offense or defense, you have to win the 3rd downs. And the Bears have been able to do that for most of this season, but they have not in this game. The Green Bay Packers are converting half of their 3rd down opportunities, and it's hard to win football games when you're not slowing people down any better than that.
319!
2nd down and 7. Rodgers over the middle for Finley. Finley survived a hit and makes it a big play. Major right came in and tried to bring down Finley. Finley stayed upright and gets 31.
Lance Briggs, I mean, he's not in bad coverage. Finley is trying to get to the middle. He runs the seam route, and it's just another perfectly thrown ball by Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's pretty impressive, you know, each week. And, you know, we've seen Rodgers miss some throws this year that he generally makes, but he's made a lot of great throws in this game.
Handoff is to Green. Penalty flag comes in as Peppers made the tackle.
Holding, number 71, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
That's Josh Sitton, the right guard. So that'll back up the Green Bay Packers, make it 1st and 20.
Josh Sitton comes up. He just tackles Lance Briggs right in the middle. I think right now for the Bears, I mean, they're battling the clock. I mean, you're looking at if they're able to keep Green Bay, you know, right now, obviously they're way out of field goal range. But if they're able to hold Green Bay to a field goal on this drive, you know, still a 2-possession game. But they've just got to make a stop so they can get the ball back to their offense and see if they can't get something going.
Rodgers too low. Pass intended for Green out of the backfield. 2nd down and 20. You look at the Green Bay sideline, you realize Lombardi was 13-5 against Chicago. Mike Holmgren 12-2. Mike McCarthy 9-5, and he's trying to win his 6th straight. That's obviously something Lovie Smith, his counterpart today, talked about when he got hired here in 04. Pass is caught by Greg Jennings, and what a good rocket throw from Aaron Rodgers, hitting Jennings as he made his move good for 14.
Kelvin Hayden outside, one-on-one. Greg Jennings. We've got so many different guys. Greg Jennings, Randall Cobb, Jermichael Finley. You know, all these different players that you've got to try to slow down, and it's difficult then on a defense. On the other hand, and we talked about it, if you're the Packers defensively, you're going to slow down Brandon Marshall, and it's pretty much all they got.
On 3rd down, Rodgers going to try and run for it. He lunges, and he's a yard shy. Wooten on the tackle, and Rodgers is a little slow to get up. To try and replace Robbie Gould, one of those two guys may be kicking for the Packers before too long, as Crosby has missed 2 more today. Penalty flag flies. Jeffrey makes the catch, working on Sam Shields, and again it's against the rookie.
Pass interference, number 17, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
And that wipes away a 7-yard completion to the rookie out of South Carolina.
Let's take a look here and see exactly, you know, what happened. And yeah, I don't agree with that call. You know, Sam Shields is saying that he got pushed off. I didn't necessarily see that. You know, Jay Cutler may have, but he hit his finger there on the helmet as he followed through on that throw. But when you extend the arm out, that's what the official sees, and that's what they got Jeffrey on.
Here's Forte. Raji makes the stop. Crowd doesn't like that call. On the other side, you've got Aaron Rodgers trying to walk it off after that tackle when he tried to pick up the 1st down running it. He came up a yard shy. So he's limping on the sideline. And saying he's going to be all right. Remember that Gabe Karimi's been benched. Former 1st-round pick out of Wisconsin. The word is it's not medical. He's just standing on the sideline as Chris Spencer is taking over at right guard. That's Forte at the bottom as Cutler is sacked by Clay Matthews. He missed 4 weeks, and he comes back and racks up his 2nd sack, and Cutler, his frustration continues.
Well, they run a twist on that side, and James Brown and left tackle Jamarcus Webb, they just don't pick it up. I mean, that's what happens when you don't get an opportunity to work side by side that much. As I said, James Brown, I mean, he was on the practice squad just a few weeks ago, and he comes in, and they've run that twist now a couple times. We saw it earlier in the game, and it was successful for the Packers, and it was again there.
Boy, did they miss Matthews. 2 sacks on the day as Forte has a long way to go. Penalty flag flies as Forte is tackled at the 30, and this offense can't do anything. It's against Chicago. The penalty is, here's the call.
An eligible player, number 78 of the offense, downfield. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So it's 4th down as James Brown was too far downfield.
Well, you know, you talk about this Bears offense and how inept they've been here today. They weren't good in week 2. You know, they had under 170 yards in that game, and they've got less than 150 yards in this game, and they're fortunate if they're back to the line of scrimmage when they're punting. I mean, they're going the wrong direction.
They had 71 yards of offense in the first quarter. Fewer than that the rest of the way. As Cobb throws it back across the field. A penalty flag is down. Ball is out. Recovered by Chicago. Trying to throw it to Jeremy Ross. The ball comes out, and why up 11 points? The Green Bay Packers are trying to do that. So from the 16 on first down. Cutler, end zone, passes incomplete and nearly picked off by Shields as Cutler almost returned the favor. Jeffrey, the intended target.
Yeah, it looked like Shields may have landed on his head too. It sounded pretty bad when he came to the ground. Not too bad, but he was a little bit shaken up. But you see, they got Evan Rodriguez who goes to the flat. There's nobody here. He just tries forcing one into the end zone, and Sam Shields, he's got good hands. He was a wide receiver in college. That's a good job by Alshon Jeffrey. He's been called for a lot of penalties in this game, but he played defense there and broke up the pass.
Forte gets it on a toss running right, and he ran right into the arms of Brad Jones. And for Chicago, pass is over the middle, dropped by Forte. And basically the Bears, after getting that gift from Green Bay, didn't move the ball more than half a yard right here before the Packers went on to beat the Steelers. Handoff is to Green, running left. Got a big hit. A gain of 3. Let's go to Kurt for a game break.
Well, a lot of your audience was watching the Giants and Falcons earlier. Unless you're a Falcon fan, you haven't missed much. Atlanta keeps pouring it on. Julio Jones, his second touchdown reception. It's 34-0 Falcons. I think you can say they're in control with 4 minutes left. Joe, Troy, and Pam?
Yeah, they're in control of that game, Kurt, and they're in control of the NFC.
Yeah, you think people will start to acknowledge them for the season they've had? I mean, they've really been overlooked, but I don't know how you can overlook them now after the way that they've beaten the New York Giants.
2nd down and 7. Under 6.5 to go. Each side with only 1 timeout remaining. Nice play up front.
Well, throughout this game, Joe, we've seen the Bears defensively play coverage and really try to force the Packers to run the ball, even though Aaron Rodgers has still thrown it and had success doing so. Now, with the situation the way that it is, knowing the Packers are wanting to try to take time off the clock, the Bears are playing single safety. They're crowding the line of scrimmage. They're being aggressive and really selling out to do all that they can.
Costanzo made that play, playing in place of the injured Geno Hayes. 3rd and 7.
This is a big 3rd down in the game.
Blitz. Rodgers got rid of it, and it is incomplete. Aaron Rodgers got plastered, and a penalty flag is thrown.
Yeah, Julius Peppers comes in late.
Passer, number 9, defense. Late hit on the quarterback. 15 yards, 1st down.
This could be a crushing penalty, and Peppers is hurt after this hit on Aaron Rodgers.
It was a big hit. It really is a question of, was there 2 steps after he released it? And I don't think that there was. I mean, nobody picked up Julius Peppers on the backside.
Punt with the penalty for the unnecessary roughness on the hit to Aaron Rodgers allows Ryan Grant a carry on 1st down. Grant gets 5, and we go back to this hit and the penalty against Peppers.
Well, we had a chance to talk to Mike Pereira. He felt that it was the right call because Julius Peppers leaves his feet. I disagree with that. I felt that he came in, and I know Aaron Rodgers has conversations with these guys all the time and says, hey, was that really necessary? And I think that it was. I mean, Julius Peppers is coming in. He's trying to make a play. He lunges because he's wanting to get there before the ball comes out. He hit him with his shoulder. I don't know. You know, we talk. It's debatable every week. I think it's a bad call.
2nd down and 5. Handoff is to Grant. He's to the 45. Remember, only 1 timeout remaining for Chicago. 3rd down and short coming up.
Of course, they got Ryan Grant in the game, and we talked about Aaron Rodgers' concern with Dwan Harris and maybe putting the ball on the ground. The Packers have only lost 5 fumbles coming into this game, none of which came from the running backs. Of course, Tillman forced one earlier, but the running backs have not lost a fumble yet this year. Now, Ryan Grant hasn't been carrying the ball all year either.
3rd down and 3. Rodgers keeps it, throws it down the sideline. Jennings led too far. Kelvin Hayden with coverage. The clock stops. It's 4th down, and the Bears are going to get it back down by 8.
Excellent job defensively. A big emotional letdown when they had the penalty on Peppers, but yet 3 plays later they force a punt. So the only thing they give up is a little bit of time, and they give up a little bit of field position. Devin Hester now going back for the return. If the Bears do anything offensively here, it'll be their best drive of the day.
Maste will hit it. The dangerous Devin Hester waits. Room for Hester. Boykin can't bring him down. Hester hops out of bounds, and good field position to start at their own 30. Starting at the 33, Cutler, who's attempted only 14 passes all game, has thrown to Marshall 4 times. All have been complete, but Marshall has drawn a crowd. Cutler, there he is. Pass is caught by Brandon Marshall, but with his forward progress stopped, the clock continues to wind, and this Chicago offense, which has done really nothing since the first quarter, is asked to go down the field, get a touchdown, and get a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, that was a pretty favorable spot. You know, I mean, he lost yardage after the catch and was driven backwards, but even considering forward progress, I didn't think that he had picked up the first down.
They say he did, so a first down.
Once again
at the 44. 4 men on the rush. Cutler has to step out of trouble and throws to an empty spot. Devin Hester was on the ground. Marshall was close. It's 2nd and 10 with 3:02 left.
Well, this is street ball at its best. I mean, it's just Jay Cutler looking at one guy. And you feel that if you can buy enough time, that number 15 is going to find a hole within that defense. And it's hard to play football effectively when you've got guys rushing the quarterback the way the Packers are, and then trying to keep a play going long enough to let
29.
one guy who you trust get open.
Pass is knocked. Tipped at the line. Clay Matthews was moving around. He was stunting on the play, and I believe got his hand on the football.
It's just a great play by Clay Matthews. I mean, he's running a twist. He realizes he can't get there, so he just then starts looking and trying to read Cutler's eyes and knocks the ball down. I mean, there's things that the great players do, things that you just can't coach, and they are very instinctive, and that certainly is true for Clay Matthews.
It's 3rd down and 10. Under 3 to go. Cutler going for the deep throw. He's got Jeffrey. A penalty flag again on the play. And it's against Alshon Jeffrey again. 2 field goals have followed by Chicago. And on what could have been a huge conversion, down by 8. With under 3 to play, that left arm got out by Jeffrey, and it drew another offensive pass interference call.
And even Sam Shields got his left arm out.
Now it's 3rd down and 20. 2 downs to pick up 20 yards, and this time it's Marshall. Good for 11, so it'll be a 4th down for Jay Cutler, who has only 1 timeout remaining, or the Bears, if they can't rally, will slide to 8 and 6. Further muddying the NFC playoff picture in that wild card chase. It's 4th down and 9. The Packers with a win here today. They win their 2nd straight NFC North title.
I'm pretty certain where he's going to try to throw the ball.
That's Brandon Marshall. It's 4th down and 9. Cutler. Pass is broken up. Shields knocked it away. Trying to get it to Alshon Jeffrey, and the defense steps up for the Green Bay Packers with 2:07 remaining.
This time it looked like Alshon Jeffrey, he got on top, and you see the hold by Sam Shields. I mean, there's contact and there's a grab by him. You see there's jersey being pulled, and yet they don't call Sam Shields this time. But it looked like Jeffrey was on top of Shields and had color of read it that way. He could have laid it over the top. Instead, they try the back shoulder throw again. But that's pass interference on Sam Shields that the official's been calling Jeffrey on throughout this game.
And we're at the 2-minute warning. Keep it. And carry it. Slide to keep the clock winding. 5 of the last 6 years. Here's Grant, and he is knocked down short of first down yardage by Major Wright. The clock will wind. It's 4th down and a yard.
Well, it still could. I mean, that's the play that makes this drive right here relevant.
So they need to go 97 yards and get a 2-point conversion. They start with Forte. No timeouts left, so now you have to get everybody back down the field. Line up. Under 40 to play. Only 2 guys coming on a rush, and Cutler is sacked. They're going to say he was down back inside the 5, and the clock will continue to wind. That can basically end this ball game, and the protection just
And advance the ball.
is not there.
Well, I don't even know what Jay Cutler's doing, though. I mean, you look at him, he doesn't even drop back. He stands around a little bit and, you know, get outside the pocket or something, but you can't just hold it back there and think you're going to have all day to throw it.
Well, here's the game. That's it. That is doing nothing with the ball with that last chance. Forte made the catch, and the Green Bay Packers have won the NFC North for the 2nd consecutive year. They've now won 12 straight against their divisional opponent, and the Bears have lost their last 6.